So why should you, and why do historians, always read the source list first in a book before we read the book? Well, it gives us an impression of where the analysis comes from in the book, where the arguments are going to come from. You see, if a source list is full of primary sources, that would be contemporaneous accounts from people who were at the events, government records that were contemporaneous, all those sort of things, we know it's going to be fairly accurate in terms of its sourcing. It's got information which is directly connected to the events and the people involved. So it's full of what we call primary sources. They are one step removed from the event itself. We haven't got a film or something of the actual event. We've got these sources which are contemporaneous by people who were there, and official accounts which were compiled from people who were there. So good, that's good. So that means its analysis is based on first-hand information. That's true. You're getting the unfiltered analysis of that author, which is going to be interesting. However, might not be, but it should be interesting. However, if it is full of secondary accounts, that is diarists who were not at the events but were contemporaneous, or books written with using primary sources, then it is going to be their analysis filtered through the analysis of others. They're not necessarily analysing what happened as analysing what others have said about what happened. And that's a very different work. It's still worth reading, but it's a different work. And this is the joy, really, of history. When we start looking at these things, you start analysing sources automatically, which is why when you're reading newspapers, when you're watching the television and you're seeing news accounts, etc., it's always the first thing that goes through my mind is, what are your sources? What are your sources? Where have you got your information from? Because that matters. That really matters. If you're talking about a major scientific breakthrough, have you talked to the actual scientists doing it? Or have you talked to their PR team? Or have you talked to the company that's sponsoring its PR team? Or have you talked to the government that's sponsoring its PR team? Who have you talked to? And this is how you have to start thinking about information. It's a really good tool when it comes to evaluating not so much the accuracy, because people can still be telling the truth, but the fullness of the information you're getting to, looking at the source list, evaluating the source of the information.